Hello and welcome to the channel. My name's Pete, and in this series we are following the Driffield to Selby Railway. This part now we're doing is from Market Weighton to Selby, which opened in 1848. What you can see behind me there is what remains of South Duffield railway station, and if you want to know about that station, go back and watch the next episode, because we are continuing on the line and our next stop will be Cliffe Common railway station. We have got permission to cross some land, so let's go on and I'll show you everything that remains, because we are now going on parts where people very rarely walk. First of all, thank you Sarah and Phil for letting us on your land to film this. We've found some things already, you've probably taken for granted, but we just want to try and film everything that remains. And tucked away in the hedge we have got original railway posts. There is some wire on that. I don't think that's original railway wire, who knows, but I don't think it is. But also across the way we've got another boundary marker for the railway here, just in there. We're not far from South Duffield railway station, which is just there. The chimney's poking out with that distinctive archway, which does give these railways their own particular look. And we can see we've got more fence posts here. We might even come across some wire tensioners somewhere, and we've got fence posts there, and it looks like they're dotted all the way up this part of the track. So a little bit further down we've come across a tensioning post here. You can see the metalwork still on there. That one's got the wire still. You can see how they wound it up to get that nice and tight. We're going to continue down the line because it does look like there's a few bits to see. Don't know how far we'll get this way. We are slightly losing the path of the railway now because we cannot access where the track bed was. It is full of undergrowth. I'll turn the camera around. So we do have crossing posts here, but our track bed is now on the other side of that, and we can't access it because there's a boundary post there, and there's a boundary post there, and it's sort of coming up and going through here now, and as you can see it's just a thicket. We're not going to be able to get in there. My brother said there was some sort of sleeper inside there, which I suspect is original because it is just in here. It is just absolutely rotten through. We're going to continue on because I think we can get back onto the railway, and then I'll show you from there. We're walking alongside the track bed here, and it is becoming an embankment. It's probably about 6 feet high. I'm going to turn the camera around so I can show you why we're not walking on the railway at the moment. So that's where we've been walking, just down the side at the bottom of the embankment. We've got lots of concrete posts here. That's a tensioning post. This is the embankment. We have got burnt items on the floor, evidence of the steam trains, but as you can see we just can't battle our way through that. But we have got a break up there because this is going up for a reason. We are now back on the track bed, sort of. That side is where we need to be. Using the word side might be a clue. This is our embankment. I was in over there. We just can't walk on there, but it's cut away now. There is no embankment here and it's drops. And we've got this huge drainage dike here. It's 15-20 feet deep, that. But we've got a brick wall there. Hope you can see that. And then beyond that we've got a fairly clean track bed, but I don't know if we're going to be able to access that, but we will go over there and walk back and try and get to this bridge if possible. I'll see what we can do. But it was a bridge, it has gone, only that side remains. This side has been completely demolished and taken away, and we think it's in there because there's loads of bricks and rubble in there, so we think it's just been chucked aside there. But sadly this is gone. We've got a coping stone in there, which is more than likely what the rails run on. Rather than brick, they do put these plinths of stone in, and there's another one there. So we need to go up to Cliffe Common ish and come back and try and get to where this bridge is. We've come back on a different day. We have sought permission from the landowners, so thank you Chris and Michael for letting us come onto the land that we're going to show you today. We're at the bridge. I'll show you what's there from this side. Now this is a substantial drain. It's called clay drain, and it leads to folly drain, which is just at the other side of the fields there, but we can't really see much of the bridge, except you probably can see a bit of a straight line going down here. We've got this big gnarly tree, but we found a brick BF. We've got no idea what that means, but taking you down the side of the bridge again, we can see the brickwork in there. Sadly this has been demolished and gone. We did ask the locals if they knew when it was demolished, but nobody seemed to know. Looking down at the ground, we've got remnants of track bed and clinker. Now the landscape around here has changed. We're now on the bridge. This was double track, and this is your edge here. We can't get any closer to that unfortunately, but then again I probably wouldn't want to, but this is it. Now our direction now is towards our next station, Cliffe Common, which is down this avenue of trees, and we'll show you anything else that remains along the way. Just before we move down there, we can see a little bit more of the edge of the bridge here. You've got the brickwork in there. This side has got a curved edge, which all the older parts of the railway line, before it was made a double track, had curved edges, and the one we saw at that side has got a more right angle on it, which would suggest that that side is the more modern part of the bridge and this side is the older part of the bridge. We will move down the line. Now at the other side of Clay Drain, it was all embankment coming up to the bridge, but at this side the only embankment remains are what seemed to be where the bridge is, and then all this has been dug away. But the trees at this side remain quite elevated, so this is probably what the original embankment height was, but everything else has now been taken away. But as we enter Cliffe Common railway station, it will gradually go back down to the normal land height. We're about halfway from South Duffield to Cliffe Common station. As you can see behind me, the track has just completely gone here. There's nothing, there's no fence posts. Even the ground has just been overgrown, and layers of mulch have just covered and hidden everything. So we're going to continue down, and I don't expect to see much, but we'll see what we find and I'll show you it. Come across a gully for a drain. This is an unnamed drain. The other side is completely modernised, but this side is modernised and got a bit of original feature to it as well. I can't really get too close to it because of how much everything here is overgrown, but that's it. This is probably quite a beautiful little drain if you could get down there and have a look, but that's as close as we're going to get. We've got some original copings that have just been moved to the side there. Another modern buttress at the end there, but inside there is all original brickwork. We're going to continue on the line and see what else we can find. That's the direction we've come from. That is the track bed. and you can see it's just obliterated really. Now I know it's a track bed because we're in line with it, and then you can see where it is at the other side of this horse paddock here. But also another good clue where we are is we've got a drain. This is an unnamed drain. We've got a gully at this side, and there'll be one at that side, which is going to be a nightmare to get to, but I will do my best to see what there is there. So this side, first of all, it is remarkable because there you go. This is the 1840s construction. I've got down about as far as I can get, and it just amazes me how beautiful these things are. See, we've got our copings across the top there, still in situ. It is a bit crumbly, it is a bit worn. Side's coming away down there. This side has gone, but it's still there and still performing its job. I'll see if I can get to the other side. We've come to the other side. We've managed to get through to see the other side of this gully, which is more of a bridge type gully really, but there's also another one because we've now reached an important point of Cliffe Common railway station. This is the other side of the gully that we were just looking at. It's completely different construction from everything else. The fascia is different, but the brickwork inside is the same. So this has had a facelift at some point, and I suspect that facelift was done in about 1911. I'm going to put some photographs up at the end of everything that we're looking at, plus a few little extra bits that I'm not showing you at the end of the video, so stay around for those. Now that would have gone to Market Weighton, that way to Selby, and we're in quite an expanse of a wooded area now. That's our Selby line. This is a long way from up there because there was a lot of rails round here at one time, because down there came off the Derwent and Light Valley Railway, which was a standard gauge railway, and this is where it actually took its own path from Cliffe Common railway station. And here's the first bridge on that railway. So we'll have a look at this one here. As you can see, construction matches that one. It was probably done for aesthetics, simply to look the same as this one at this side, which could be seen from the trains crossing this bridge. I don't know what's left at the other side, but we will have a quick look. Round here there are a lot of broken bits. We've got fence posts in there, we've got copings here, and it looks like this one has been damaged quite considerably. But then we've also got another bridge there, because that is where it turned off and head north to York. Again, looking quite picturesque. We'll get some photographs of these and I'll put these up at the end. And then we've got this really wide bridge here. Down in there, we can see that, absolutely beautiful to see. And then we'll go to this side and we'll see what we can see. I will go down there and take some photographs for the end. And there we go. Now that railway line came across that bridge I showed you, off at this angle, across this bridge, at an angle, because if you notice how wide this is, it is a very wide bridge, but the lines will have come across are quite oblique, and then heading north, eventually taking us to York. This was more of an industrial line, although it did take passengers for a short period of time. We're not here for this railway today. We will continue on and get to Cliffe Common station. Cliffe Common being this way. This is our original track bed. That paddock goes across it. The Derwent Light Valley Railway going over that way. This is the edge of our bridge for the or gully top for the Selby Weighton line, and we're on the Selby Weighton line here. We've got loads of clinker, burnt coal. Our kid's got a huge piece which I'll show you in a minute. But you only need to look down at the floor to see all this stuff. And look at the size of this one our kid's got in his hand. Absolutely massive. And what we've got the other one there as well. Absolutely huge. Just evidence that the railways were once active in this area. You'd never guess to look at it now. We're going to continue on and hopefully get to Cliffe Common station. Now this is a wide expanse where we are, because we would have had the Selby Weighton line here, and then this land would have been given up for the Derwent Valley Light Railway, which would have gone down this route, which would go to the back of the station house, and the Selby line would have gone to the front of the station house. We're going to try and walk down here as far as we can and then get back onto our line, and I'll show you anything else that remains. Now we are at Cliffe Common railway station. We couldn't get any further from where we filmed last time because it all belongs to a gentleman that lives here. We've knocked on his door. He won't let us film on his land, but I will turn the camera around and show you what I can see from public land. The railway station is round there, and I will show you that shortly. But we can access the platform from the other side. But all this was basically sidings. I have taken a photograph from up there pointing this way, so I'll be able to match that in a bit to see how busy it was. Now there's a piece of lump sticking out there. That is where they used to have the water pipe coming out of the ground and filling up the tenders, and that's the well. He didn't let us on the property, but I did ask him if that's what that was, and he did confirm it. So we're going to go around over there and walk up to the property up there, because we have permission over that side, and we'll film from there. We have made it to Cliffe Common railway station. The land it was on is a huge expanse and virtually nothing remains, but there are a few things of interest to show you, and I'll turn the camera around and I'll point out what's going on. So we're on a goods area. We have permission to be here. We did seek permission to gain access to this piece of land, but we were denied it. But our line came in from where those trees are, straight through to here, roughly through where that building is, and just behind those trees is Cliffe Common railway station. But the line would have separated off somewhere over there and brought down into this area where we are, where the goods are, and there is a platform remaining which I will show you. At the back of the station, which the drone shot will show you, at the other side of this is a road, and that was also a platform, which there is something of interest to show you. From this side we can film there, but where the roadway is where the line went, and that again went off up that way up to the Derwent Valley Railway line, which was curled round up there and went over them bridges we saw earlier, and then heading north up to York. That was a light railway, but it was standard gauge, and it was connected to this railway for a period of time, disconnected and then reconnected. So the line opened on the 1st of August 1848, although this station, like many of the others, again didn't appear until November 1851. As I go down, if I see the other things, I'll show you them. It was opened under the York and North Midland and closed under British Railways following the beaching cuts, which I think this line should probably have stayed rather than HS2. They could have probably built this and then potentially opened all these villages up, all the towns up that way, and market towns up to commuter villages and towns that would take you to Selby and on to Leeds as quick as an hour and a half on old trains, so you'd probably be able to almost within an hour on the modern day and age. Now, Cliffe Common railway station closed to passengers on the 20th of the 9th 1954, but some excursions were stopping here up until about 1957. Complete closure came on the 28th of the 1st 1964, and this station mainly dealt with potatoes, hay, clover, vegetables, cattle, that kind of thing. Now if you look over there, there was platforms all over that side there, and you can see this piece here, that's a well. That is where we looked at from the gate looking back. That's the road where the platforms were, and that's where they used to top up the trains, the steam trains with steam locomotives with water. Now we do have a goods platform remaining here. It is the property of this gentleman here, but I'm going to go up there because there's a chair up there and I want to see the date on it. Cliffe Common again was originally opened as a single line track, and then it was doubled like the rest of them at around 1890. Now we can see this platform here. There was also an adjacent platform here as well, which has been knocked down. So this is the only remaining platform. And the gentleman's property we're on, we spoke to him and he told us about this platform at this side, which is gone. And there were some buffers up in there up until about 2 years ago, when this gentleman knocked them down. There's a chair up there. So this is the platform. Just through there you can see the station, and I'll tell you about that a little bit more when we get there. You can see it's not in bad condition at all, is it, that? And it goes all the slope all the way down to the end here, and then into there. You can see the back of the platform. I'm going to go up it slightly. I hope I don't get shouted at, because what I want to see is that chair there, because there's no other reason for that to be here except for this railway line. So let me see if we have got a date on it. No, I can't see any date on there. So for passengers it had 2 facing platforms, and the office was located on the station house of the ground floor. And this is it here. It's now a private residence and the platforms have been demolished. But the lines would have run through here, across where that house is there, and there is actually what was the signal box, but there's some gate posts still remaining. The signal box was located on the far side of the crossing, on the upside, controlling the gates and access to the good yards. And the yard originally comprised of 3 sidings, cattle dock up behind the platform, which later became the DVLR, and a private siding for that big white building there, which is known as the malt kilns. So we will try and have a little walk around there, because that's all flats, and I wonder if there's anything remaining in the ground. So what we have got here is some original railway fencing in there, and then the trains would have come across from this building straight across the road here, and our crossing box would have been there. Now we are lucky enough to have the gate posts still in situ for this property, which are here with our railway fencing. They are at a slight oblique angle, and then we've got this one here as well. So we know our line followed this hedge line here. That property is now built on the railway. We can't access any further track and before we leave Cliffe Common railway station, which is just through there. These crossing posts, our signal box was over there. This was called the Railway Inn. I will put a picture of that in for you now. So what you can see behind me is known as the malt kiln. Big production when it was in its heyday, and it had its own private siding. I've been round the back, there's no trace of it, it's all been modified, and some of the land has even been built on. So with Cliffe Common railway station in the background, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.